This is K1DBC. All stations please stand by. The Denver Radio Club Learn Yet starts in approximately 5 minutes.
So this is going to be a very short introduction in history. I did a little research on this, and outsourcing and manufacturing from the U.S. has been developed over decades. Next slide, please. So this is a very incomplete history of this. To give a complete history would take hours, but it started back in 1868 when Japan, post-revolution, began to industrialize. In the 1900s, textile manufacturers began to move from New England to the South, so that was an outsourcing in a sense. In 1909, approximately, the Radio Corporation of America, not to be confused with the Radio Club of America, became a patent pool for a cartel of General Electric, Westinghouse, and AT&T. In the 1950s, Japan started to manufacture relatively inexpensive toys and other goods. Tim, can you scroll it up a wee bit, please? In the 1950s, David Sarnoff of Radio Corporation of America encouraged Japan to form cartels, much as RCA had done with GE, Westinghouse, and AT&T. Between the 1950 and the 1970s, so over 20 years, Zenith began a long battle with the Radio Corporation of America over the patent cartel. They were not a part of it and felt that they were being excluded unfairly. Next slide. In the 1960s, Zenith was prevented from selling in Japan. They sued. 1971, changing countries a little bit, President Nixon first made his historic visit to China. In 74, Matsushita acquired Motorola's color TV business, which at the time was a very large business. In 1974, the US Supreme Court ruled in favor of Matsushita and against Zenith. They claimed there was no illegal activity, just, quote, hard competition. In 1979, President Carter restored diplomatic relations with China. In the 1980s, in a completely different segment of the world, the consulting firm of Arthur Andersen started remote consulting services, which led to all kinds of remote services from Asia. By the end of the 1980s, over 40 US consumer electronics manufacturing facilities had closed. Zenith moved its TV manufacturing to Mexico. And in the 1980s and 1990s, the outsourcing of IT began to grow. Next slide, please. So this is a perspective from 2012. At the bottom, there is a reference to a document that was put out by, can you scroll it up just a wee bit, by Tom Ridge, who at the time was the Homeland Security Secretary. And this is a 2012 perspective. Since 1979, manufacturing jobs in the US had declined 40%. 6 million factory jobs had disappeared, and 66,000 factories had closed. By 2012, less than 10% of the US labor force was in manufacturing.
This is K1DBC. The DRC Learning Net will start in 1 minute. All stations, please stand by.
This document, Preparing for 21st Century Risk, is a very interesting one, and I would recommend that to anybody that's interested.
W0T
Next slide, please.
repeater.
So it's important to look at from the perspective of how the trade relationship has gone. This particular article in the Asia Pacific Journal is really excellent. It goes into the deep history of our relationships with China from the very beginning, even during feudal times, and explains a lot of reasons why we got into a trade deficit, which in 2005 and 2006 was characterized as the largest deficit it has ever recorded for the US for the with a single economy in history. In 2012, China exceeded the
Hello and welcome back to the Denver Radio Club Learning Net for June 3rd, 2026. It's a great place to learn about ham radio and STEM topics in general. And thankfully, we have plenty of combined experience and expertise. This is Kilo 1 Delta Bravo Charlie. My name is Daron, and this evening's Net Control. Tonight, we'll be taking your check-ins, comments, questions, updates, and more. Can't thank enough Kenny, KD0, CGF for taking Net Control last week when the Denver Radio Club was having their board meeting. I really do appreciate that. They talked about DMR, fusion repeaters, and radios to put in a boat. Some airtime operations. We meet every Wednesday except the third Wednesday of the month, 7:30 p.m. Mountain Time on 145.490 and 448.625. 145 with a minus 600 kilohertz offset, 448.625 has a minus 5 megahertz offset. We're also on our Echolink repeater, 449.350, and our DMR repeater, 446.7875. Again, those also do have a minus 5 megahertz offset. You can also check in via the appropriate apps for All-Star Link node 42851, Echolink node 4140, or DMR Brandmeister Talk Group 310804. You can contact us, if you'd like, via email, elmer@w0tx.org, most social media at Denver Radio Club. We also stream and archive our nets, youtube.com/Denver Radio Club. So if you'd like to see behind the scenes of the net or visual context, that is an additional way to view and participate in the net. This is K1DBC Net Control. Let me see here. All check-ins to the net, this net can be broken at any time for emergency or priority traffic by using the word break. Is there currently any emergency prior or priority traffic at this time? This is K1DBC Net Control. All check-ins to the net will be taken in alphabetical groups based on the first letter of the suffix of the operator's call sign. The suffix is the first letter after the number in the call sign. If you can, please try to use ITU phonetics for your call sign and indicate if you have traffic or questions as you check in. If you'd like, you can follow along with the check-in process, w0tx.org/check-in. Please do bear in mind there is about a 3-minute timeout to the repeater. So after talking for about 3 or so minutes, the repeater will stop transmitting. It will stop transmitting for about 30 seconds, and then it'll start to allow transmitting again after that. So just do bear that in mind. If you have something you want to talk about, don't hesitate to do so. But after about 3 minutes, just unkey the repeater, let it clear, and then start back up again. With that, if your suffix begins with letters A through M, Alpha through Mike, please check in now.
KD0, CGF, Kenny, and Thornton.
Net Control would like to welcome and acknowledge the following check-in: KD0, CGF. Kenny, thank you so much for checking in here, and again as well for taking Net Control last week as well. This is K1DBC Net Control. I guess we'll open up to the whole alphabet. We're taking all call signs, all call suffixes. If you'd like to check in just for the count, or if you have any traffic questions. Again, this is the Denver Radio Club Learning Net, great place to learn about ham radio and STEM topics. We're taking all check-ins A through Z, Alpha through Zulu. Please call now. This is K1 at DDC Net Control. Not happy with some of the trajectory that we're seeing in the numbers checking in here, but that is what it is. So if anybody is listening in and do want to check in, don't hesitate to do so. This net is for us, by us, as it were. So this is a great place to talk about ham radio and STEM topics. So if you have comments, questions, if you'd like to check in, we're taking all call signs, all call suffixes, A through Z, Alpha through Zulu. Please call now. All right, well, we'll give it a few minutes here. Very quickly, if anybody's interested on our YouTube page, youtube.com/Denver Radio Club, just before the net starts, I'll often play a short video or a part of a video. I was playing a video by the Radio Club of America supply chain panel. Has pretty good information about U.S. manufacturing and outsourcing from the 50s and 60s all the way up through the 90s. I'll probably play a few more minutes after that, after the net. Great YouTube page, though, Radio Club of America. They recently had a convention, so there's plenty of new videos. FirstNet Fusion. FirstNet, I believe, is for not E911, but a lot of the 911 interoperabilities. Evolution of technology, transformative communication for humanities. Eyes in the sky. Life and radio work at McMurdo Station. Current developments and outlook for public safety and the use of push-to-talk over cellular. So quite a lot of pretty good topics. So if anybody's interested, again, check them out. Radio Club of America. This is K1 DBC Net Control. I don't have a whole lot. I have a couple things I can certainly bring up as needed, but this is K1 DBC Net Control. We're taking all check-ins, comments, questions. Just a couple of us checked in here so far for this evening's net. I am on a different radio. Hopefully I am making it out there all right. 25 Redavis RT95 testing as a hot spare as something has gone wrong with my main rig. So RT95. About $120, $130 off of Amazon or their official website, 2 meter, 70 centimeter, and my normal antenna that I'm using, I have used in the past. So if anybody has comments, questions, further check-ins or anything, please call now.
W0TX repeater. Hey, Duran, it's Kenny, KD0 CGF. Yeah, it looks like a little pretty cool little radio there. Has it been working pretty okay for you?
Yeah, so far so good. I had purchased it a couple of years back, intending on putting it in my my vehicle, but having worked remotely for so much time, I really don't spend a whole lot of time in my vehicle anymore. Yeah, pretty nice little micro station. Works quite well. Uses RJ45 for microphone, which is nice for extendability. Doesn't have a detachable face, which is unfortunate, but I do have it in my basement at the moment, and I am talking on a microphone about 20 feet away via Ethernet. Programming does use Ethernet as well. So to program it, you do need to unplug the microphone. I think that's the only the downside that I've seen so far. But yeah, so far so good. Redavis is a pretty good brand name, and I think I haven't had any negative reports or anything. So far so good.
I do have a couple other questions, or I do have another question for you, but not in relation to that. The DMY repeater, is that still linked into our net?
Yes, just during the nets, though, at the moment, our DMR repeater is connected in to the analog repeaters. That has been going all right so far as well. So if anybody's interested, again, DMR Brandmeister 310804 talk group, or on the actual physical repeater itself on time slot number 2, which is always on that talk group 310804 during our Sunday and Wednesday nets. They are interlinked. The audio coming in from the digital side to the analog side is slightly lower than we're looking for. I'm testing out some gain settings, and audio from analog to digital seems to be working all right. So this is just running on a Raspberry Pi All-Star Link using analog bridge to connect into DMR. But yes, to answer that question, for our nets at least, automatically 10 to 15 minutes before Sunday, 10 to 15 minutes before Wednesday net, it automatically connects and automatically disconnects 10 to 15 minutes after the net.
Okay, thank you for that. What it is I started working in Boulder again, and I know our normal repeaters don't really like to reach Boulder, or at least the linked repeater don't. So I'm just trying to find or figure out another solution that I can participate and join in.
Yeah, we've been doing some testing over the last few weeks. Things have been going quite well, apart from just the low audio noise issue from the DMR side to analog. It's going quite well. So I think we're pretty ready to start trialing it out on a more permanent basis. The one downside is on the DMR side, right now it's my call sign that always appears. So if anybody does transmit from analog and it's interconnected, my call sign DMR ID will show up. And if even we were to move over to the group's call sign, it would just be one thing. So that might be some confusion for anybody that's not aware of what's going on. But yes, we are looking to interlink our repeaters on a more permanent basis. They often sit stagnant, and we want to see more usage out of them, and a more ability for people like you to get more coverage out of them as well.
And another bit of news for you. A while back, you mentioned, or we were talking about the live radio feeds, how we used to have that set up to where it went through, I forget the website, but you can listen to the repeater through the internet. I don't know if there's been any changes on that, but I started currently researching a way to do that. So I got a ton of radios, and I'm getting ready to go up the radio tower here in the next couple weeks to replace the G5RV, or put it back up. And I'm thinking about putting another antenna up there and running it to an SDR and tunneling our repeater through it so we can listen to it on the internet.
Thank you so much for looking into that as well. Yeah, it actually, I think, is working now. I think our the person who is doing it, Robert Pickett, K0RAP, actually did fix it. So it is working at the moment. Broadcastify. And there is actually a way we can do it directly from our repeater itself, because our repeater is interconnected to the internet. So we may eventually move it permanently over to our repeater itself to handle that. But yeah, please don't hesitate to do so as well. And yeah, you do get a premium account for doing that. So there is really no downside to doing that. So that's awesome to hear. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. Again, can't thank you enough, Kenny, for all your help here. Really, it's awesome to see, awesome to hear. Is anyone else out there? We're just chatting here, ham radio stuff. If anybody else wants to check in, comments, questions, check-ins, we're taking all check-ins A through Z, Alpha through Zulu. Please call now.
WD0CIV, WD0CIV, Charles and Denver, no traffic.
Charles, WD0CIV, got you checked in. Thank you so much for checking in here. Anyone else at the moment? Just a few of us have checked in here so far for this evening's Learning Net. We're taking all check-ins, A through Z, Alpha through Zulu. If you'd like to check in, this is the Denver Radio Club Learning Net. Great place to learn about ham radio and STEM topics. So if you'd like to check in just for the count, or if you want to share any comments, questions, updates on projects or anything else that you got going on, we're taking all check-ins. Let me know your call sign, your name. And if you have any traffic questions, please call now.
CGF. I do have some other stuff I can certainly bring up too.
Yeah, please, absolutely. We're not a professional radio station, but dead air is not helpful on our repeaters either, though. So please, Kenny, KD0, CGF, go right ahead, please.
W0TX repeater.
So, a couple of things that have been going on. My radio box that I built, I actually took it apart the other day and currently spread all across my desk. I'm getting ready to go into the process of redesigning it and rebuilding it. Mainly try to eliminate some things, create more space, make it more lightweight. But at the same time, I've also been researching, because I've been tempted to pull the trigger on getting a Yaesu 991A or 991 Alpha radio, but I'm a little uncertain about it because I guess they have an issue where the finals like to go out. I don't know if anybody has any experience with that radio or not. But I'm kind of torn to either stick with the FT891 or 891 and use it as a, let me drop. And use it as a base, and I have I think it's a 3D printed handle, like a carrying handle, coming with it and designing it as essentially a pack-out style radio, or go with an older edition. I forget what the other Yaesu all-band radio was, but I'm trying not to go older than 2013 is where I'm struggling for the years that the radio came out. I found out the radio I'm currently on, the IC746, came out in, I believe it was 98. So it's a great radio, but I do want to upgrade it, but I don't want to dive into the SDR versions of ham radio. This is KD0CGF, back to net.
Excellent. Thanks for the update on that. Let's see. Yes, there's certainly probably a market nowadays for you don't have to have a boat anchor type radio. It doesn't have to be all that big and heavy, but probably doesn't have to be SDR. There's probably a good medium. I don't know particularly myself Let's see. The finals issue, FT991A, usually involve RF power amplifier transistors failing or losing output power, heavily tied to incorrect factory set bias current. That is unfortunate to hear. Yeah, I have not had great luck myself with not necessarily that radio, but other radios as well recently. Some major issues, finals failing type things, and not being able to output anymore. So I'm not purchasing radios myself too frequently here myself. But yeah, that is interesting to hear. Yeah, the IC746 probably quite a lot bigger and older, as you mentioned. Still performs probably quite the same, but there might be some good medium. Maybe that FT991A or the I don't know. I've heard pretty good things about that. I think though, or something another. Maybe it's just the HF variant, not the all band variant.
Yeah. The idea behind it was to try to limit the radio to one general use radio that can pretty much do it all. Where I'm struggling right now is the 746 doesn't like doing packet radio the way I have it set up. And here in the next week or so, I'm going to be testing that on the 891 to see how well that works. I tested the packet radio on the new Anytone handheld, and even that's struggling a little bit. I have not been able to link the servers to the radio, as I guess is what it would be. And so I'm hoping that my idea works, but my brain's starting to draw a blank. KD0 CGF, back to that.
All right, gotcha. Yeah, it was the 891, as you mentioned previously. That was what I was thinking. I think I've seen those for sale pretty frequently on eHam. It seemed to have pretty good reviews. I mean, I was looking into the Digi-Rig setup myself for one of the radios that I have as well for packet setup. I'll need to dive a little bit more deep into to packet, but it seems like it either works or it doesn't somehow. And I'm a little bit frustrated myself too a little bit, but this is a K1 DBC Net Control. Anyone out there on the operational use of the ICOM 746, the 991A, the 891A, or just 891, pardon me, maybe for the man-pack type radio pack operations. As we all know, it is nice to have an all-in-one radio. They are certainly getting a little bit more expensive, and if something does go wrong, it might impact all the bands. So anyone out there on either piecemealing together or putting together a man-pack, and what radio operations would you maybe suggest? HF only type rig, HF 50 megahertz, or all band, all mode. Anyone else on that? Or Kenny, go right ahead. All right. Nothing heard at the moment. This is K1 at DBC Net Control. Again, as we've talked in the past about radios, it was often more common 20 plus years ago. The 857D, for example, radio was a really good all-band, all-mode radio, sub $1,000 even in its day, and a little bit more expensive now. I used to have one. I still do. Does not work though. I think finals issue as well. So it's really kind of unfortunate how that works. And that might be why. I mean, well, radio manufacturers, it's for cost perspective, they are splitting out HF 50 megahertz or 50 megahertz and the UHF VHF bands often nowadays into two type of radios. So Kenny or anyone else on the 891, 991A, or anything else on that, go right ahead.
This is KD0CGF. That 857D that you had up, so I was researching that because that was the radio I was thinking about getting once I found out about the finals on the 991A. And I found out they discontinued it because getting the circuitry or getting some of the components for it were either very scarce or just got too expensive, which is why they discontinued that model. So I think what my plan of action right now is just to run the 981 for now, and either later in the year or hopefully Yaesu comes out with a better version of the 991A the next year or so, and then pull the trigger on that. That's kind of the train of thought I'm going towards, or leaning towards. KD0CGF, back to net.
W0TX, repeater.
All right, gotcha. Sounds good. Yeah, that sounds like it's probably a good idea. Maybe to hold off on that a little bit. Yeah, it is unfortunate to hear and to know and why things were discontinued, because those all band, all mode rigs were shack in a box was a really nice thing to have, 100-watt HF, VHF, UHF radio. And it's unfortunate to see nowadays that that's not really a reality that we can have in a consumer type product for a reasonable price. There's certainly there's out there, but yeah, you definitely pay a price and run the risk of an issue happening, and then it'll take down all those bands. So yeah, very cool stuff. Yeah, let us know how that works out. I'd love to see more on there. If we'll again, KD0CGF, Kilo Delta Zero Charlie Golf Fox might have some videos coming out on that. Just putting words into his mouth there, I guess. Nothing guaranteed there, but over on YouTube, KD0CGF for some updates previously and maybe going forward. So we'll see. So yeah, let us know. Send us over some photos. We'll post it up on our groups.io or however we need to. This is K1 DBC Net Control. Anyone else? Comments, questions, check-ins? Please call now.
Checking in, this is WR7F, Whiskey Romeo 7 Foxtrot, Ryan.
All right, got you checked in there, Ryan, Whiskey Romeo 7 Fox. Thank you so much for checking in. I guess with that, we'll take further check-ins. If you're just tuning in, this is the Denver Radio Club Learning Net, great place to learn about ham radio and STEM topics. Lasts about an hour. We have about 30 minutes left here in this evening's Learning Net. Great place to learn about ham radio and STEM topics. So if you'd like to check in, we're taking all check-ins, A through Z, Alpha through Zulu. Please call now. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. I heard someone trying to break in there, but no discernible voice coming over. We'll take all check-ins, though, A through Z, Alpha through Zulu, all call signs, all call suffixes. Let me know your call sign, your name, and if you have any traffic or questions, please call now. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. I haven't been doing a whole lot of radio myself recently. Just a bit stagnant on my end, a little bit worse for wear. Sometimes you got to take a little bit of a break. Anyone else, though? Plenty of time here, though, left. A through Z, Alpha through Zulu, or any other further comments, questions, or check-ins, anything else? Go right ahead. Let's see, I guess I can talk about a little bit what I have been doing here recently, just some for fun type things. I work professionally as a kind of a network technician. I'm certainly not an engineer at all. Self-taught, Cisco certified. So I work in the telecom industry. I work for a company called Zayo. We provide internet for cell phone towers, essentially. So your major cell phone providers, Sprint, AT&T, Dish, T-Mobile, etc. We provide gigabit, 10 gigabit plus internet over fiber to these companies. I work from home. I just work to help remotely install and configure the routers and switches. Something I've been starting to play around with again. I was once doing this before, but network simulation. If anybody's interested in getting into playing around with routers and switches, GNS3 is a great tool used by hundreds of thousands of network engineers worldwide to emulate, configure, test, and troubleshoot virtual and real networks. Allows you to run a small topology consisting of only a few devices on your laptop to those that have many devices hosted on multiple servers or even in the cloud. Open source, free software that you can download. Golf November Sierra3.com. Again, this is kind of just an offshoot of one of my interests, network engineering and telecom. So I've been just setting up some Cisco and Nokia Alcatel-Lucent routers and just for testing purposes, so I'm not having to do anything nefarious, or not nefarious, but not make mistakes in the real world. So if anybody's interested, network simulation, gns3.com. This is K1DBC Net Control. There are quite a few others. There's Eve NG, and there's another one as well. So if anybody's interested in playing around with network engineering gear, but you don't have the physical space to do so, this is a great way to download, architect, and play around with Cisco devices and all sorts of others. All right. Anyone else? Comments, questions, check-ins? We have another 30 or so minutes here still. Anyone else? Please call now. Let's see, I guess speaking of telecom, I'm also getting back into some analog type audio as well. Analog telephones. Let's see, if anybody's interested, there's a thing called an ATA, analog telephone adapter, which essentially is an Ethernet adapter and one or two RJ11 type ports for phones. So I'm getting back into that as well. I recently just won an auction off of shopgoodwill.com for about $15, a bundle of 5 cordless handsets, kind of geeky, kind of nerdy type thing, but integrating into our repeaters and also integrating into hams over IP and voice over IP, essentially. So just some telecom hacking and telephony type stuff as well. That is what I have been up to here recently. So anyone else, telephony, questions, comments, questions, or anything else, go right ahead. All right, so that is much of what I have been doing here recently, just because I can. Really, that's kind of the some of the hacker type ethos, is just do it because you can. I don't have a whole lot of actual usage out of it, but it's really just kind of something to do and something to get working with, integrated with radios and things like that. So anyone else? Comments, questions, check-ins, any projects you've been working on recently? Any hardware that you've purchased or are researching or reviewing or looking into? Any news stories that you've seen? We're taking all comments, questions, check-ins. Please call now.
CGF with a comment.
Yeah, Kenny, please go right ahead. The net is yours.
Hearing you talk about the telephones makes me think of the days of the Autopatch system when you can order a pizza by radio.
Yes, absolutely. Really cool stuff there. We actually kind of do have that, actually, because of All-Star Link. I have brought it up in the past, but never harped on it too much. But there is a United States telephone number that you can dial, and you can actually dial into our repeater and transmit over that. Kind of crazy. So, yeah, if anybody's interested, there is actually an Autopatch feature on our repeater using a telephone number you can dial in, and can't dial out, though. So it's really just calling in to the repeater, but not calling out from the radio. So, yeah, before the proliferation of cell phones, people used to be able to dial out from repeaters onto the public telephone network. That is kind of funny stuff. All right, comments, questions, check-ins. Let me see if I can find that telephone number just in case anybody's interested here. Let's see, this is a K1 DBC Net Control. I think it used to be on their page itself, but its phone number is 763 230 if you dial that phone number, you do need to have a free All-Star Link account. But then you can actually transmit over our repeater. Apologies for the science there. This is K1 DBC Net Control. Yes, Autopatch. Some clubs still might have that. We certainly don't on our repeaters. I have seen some other clubs still advertising that, though, as a member-only type feature. So if anybody's interested, again, another kind of geeky integration between telecom and radio. Again, a lot of our radio conversations now are more or less voice over IP type communications, especially when they're connected into the internet. So instead of just using a telephone, we use a radio, but it's more or less the same type of signaling. So it's a little bit of a costly endeavor, though, nowadays to integrate the public switch telephone network into our repeaters. But if anybody's interested, there's plenty of opportunities to do that.
KD0 CGF. The only repeater that I'm aware of in our area that still has that is the 14694, and it's only there from what I can tell, like the emergency use of it. I haven't heard it key up in over. I think I was in my early teens when the last time I heard it, and I'm 35 now, so that tells you how long ago. But they have it set up to where you, I forget if it's just a straight dead key or if you key it and hit the pound sign, you can actually dial 911 and it'll connect you to State Patrol, which I think is the reason why they leave it active. I don't know, but I always thought it was really neat.
Yeah, absolutely. It is a real neat functionality to have. And again, with the advent of cell phones, it's not really a complete necessity, but just in case anybody is aware, though, if you are out of cell phone coverage, but you do have access to some repeaters, very few nowadays, it sounds like, but sometimes they'll be able to have that Autopatch, especially for emergency services as well. Sounds like it. So maybe the Rocky Mountain Radio League potentially repeater, call sign Whiskey 0 Whiskey Yankee X-ray / Romeo, the output 146940, input 146340, might not be correct completely on that repeater, but the RMRL group certainly would probably be the ones that have an Autopatch feature still potentially set up. Very cool stuff. Yeah, anyone else? Comments, questions, check-ins, another 15 or so minutes. Just a few of us checked in here so far. Just anyone else? Comments, questions, check-ins, go right ahead. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. Maybe looking at their website here, they are showing their repeater, the 145.220 repeater output that has Autopatch. Hopefully we're not intermixing definitions and terminology here, but that is one of the things they have mentioned on their website there. So, yeah, if anybody's interested, it is mostly dying out. You certainly won't see it mostly. It does cost extra to tie into the analog telephone system. So very few clubs, very few and far in between, you'll see that. But it's just a nice feature and functionality to have if it is out there. Anyone else? Go right ahead. All right, this is K1 DBC Net Control. Anyone else? Comments, questions, check-ins? Again, just a few of us have checked in here so far. We'll have our Denver Radio Club round table coming out before the 5th of the month. You should see that on the website, w0tx.org. Upcoming meeting by Orlin Wolf, I believe. Cold War RF espionage, RF entomology. First presented back in 2020. And so there'll be a bit of an update on that. I believe that is the presentation for this month, and I'm not confusing that for next month. I think that should be in person as well as remote. So if anybody's interested in technology used for bugging governments and individuals, I guess, One often talked about is the Great Seal. You may have seen before a seal put in the presented to the U.S. ambassador in Moscow by Soviet children, operated for 7 years between 1946 1952. Heard by accident by British and U.S. monitoring stations. A passive device remotely activated by a strong external RF source, a resident cavity mic. So might be some more updates on that and some other recent espionage activities, because there certainly has been quite a lot in the last 40 plus years. So anyone else? Comments, questions, check-ins? Go right ahead. All right, we'll see if I have anything else here. Again, upcoming, I can't believe it's June already. It's kind of crazy. It's field day in a couple of weeks here. ARL.org for more information on that. Let's see here. Let's see if you're an ARL member. The June 2026 edition of the the QST magazine has been published. So looking at a photo here, let me see what they have for credit here. This month's cover, teamwork as embodied here by members of the 415 Amateur Radio Club of Crystal Lake, Illinois. And task assignments can help make ARRL Field Day more successful and fun for everyone involved. This year's Field Day issue includes tried and true advice for organizing a large operation, maximizing your group's outreach, fitting digital modes into your setup, and much, much more. Let's see an article here, page 52, Effective Communication, the crux of a field day. The Bullet Amateur Radio Society's tips on pooling club members' skills and experiences to operate effectively on ARL Field Day. Article written by Buddy Soul, Kilo Charlie 4 Whiskey, Quebec. The Bullet Amateur Radio Society, call sign Kilo Yankee 4 Kilo Yankee, has had very successful ARL Field Day efforts, primarily because they prepare and build on past successes and failures. Operating events held throughout the year are the bread and butter of their success. For each event, they set up a personal or group goal. They look at whether there was anything lacking last year, whether it be phone station antennas, number of operators at the CW stations, equipment needs, etc., and how they can fix it for this coming years. Let's see a bit of a lengthy article here. First paragraph, transferable member skills. Second part is effective field day communication. Third part is keeping it simple. And lastly, the rewards of efficiency. So very quickly skimming this here. Transferable member skills. During the year, many of their members participate in different operating activities and events, all involving skill sets that prove useful during field day. Several members, parks on the air enthusiasts who have developed the skill to handle multiple callers, also known as a pileup, and have learned to keep their exchange to just the facts. Another skill set the POTA ops have gained is how to use compromise antennas effective and efficiently. Their club has supported the Lewis and Clark Trail on the air special event since its inception. That's another operation that requires handling the occasional mini pileup and getting contacts. See, several other members are contesters. A few are loving chasing DX. These skills become shared assets as members work together toward common goals, and they all have one commonality: effective communication. Speaking of that, exchanging information quickly, efficiently, and correctly is the crux of field day. As a young air traffic controller, his instructor asked him why he talked so much. He came from a law enforcement background, and upon considering his point, he realized that there was a lot of unnecessary verbiage in his communications. He goes on to say that those extra words add nothing and actually degrade your effort by introducing points of potential confusion, errors, delays, and unnecessary repeats. When you're providing emergency or public service communications, eliminating the errors and minimizing airtime are two high-profile considerations. When we train for field day, there is an emphasis on minimizing verbiage and getting the message through quickly, effectively, and error-free. Efficiently, pardon me. Members familiarize themselves with the rules of the event, types of exchanges. There's a focus on minimizing words regardless of mode. We're all talkers by nature, and on occasional, extra hello or thank you doesn't detract. Doesn't attract much from the score, but it's the beginning of a slippery slope. Keeping it simple, if your exchange is to Foxtrot, Kentucky, then that is what should be conveyed. Don't add verbiage such as please copy to Florida, Bluegrass State, Kentucky, or repeat it up. Repeat the exchange 2 or 3 times out of sequence. Keep it simple. Use a speed or a voice or CW that is effective for your audience. Field day has a lot of new and experienced operators, so do bear that in mind and keep that in mind. Slow things down a bit. Speak clearly and succinctly. Send what you need. And the rewards of efficiency. Last part of the article here. The bonus of efficient communication is more contacts in the log and more points. If you have a small pile up and spend too many words on each contact, some of those stations in the queue may well move on to other frequencies. While they may end up in your log later, they also may just be a lost opportunity. Maximizing your opportunities for contacts by minimizing your words. When you send just the needed information, nothing is misconstrued, errors are reduced or eliminated, and you are one giant step closer to producing that golden log and being an effective and efficient communicator. Everyone wins when the correct information gets through quickly and effectively. That is from Buddy Soul, Kilo Charlie 4, Whiskey, Quebec. So again, upcoming field day, last weekend of June. We'll be meeting at the Prospect Arena in Arvada, as we have been in the last couple of years. We'd love to see you out there, whether you want to participate or not. Please don't hesitate to just show up and hang out. Plenty of opportunities for volunteering if you'd like. Lots of antenna setup and teardown, and lots of setup and teardown of lots of other equipment as well. We'll be doing another balloon launch. Pete, Alpha Bravo 8 Whiskey November, will be doing that. So we look forward to seeing a little bit of a better success than we did last year. So come and hang out. We'd love to see you out there. It is a 24-hour operation, 12 p.m. Saturday to 12 p.m. Sunday, the last weekend of the month. So that is going to be the 27th and the 28th. So if you want to camp, tent, car camp, or if bring an RV, plenty of space for everyone. This is K1DBC Net Control. I have waffled on quite enough. If there is any other comments, questions, check-ins, we have another 5 or so minutes. Anyone else so far for this evening's Learning Net? Please call now.
W0TX repeater.
Kilo Foxtrot 0 Whiskey Papa Romeo checking in. This is Mark.
Mark, Kilo Foxtrot 0, Whiskey Papa Romeo. Thank you so much for checking in. Looks like a new call sign here. Checking into the net. Really do appreciate that. Looks like issued just a couple of months ago. So welcome to our club and welcome to the hobby. And thank you so much for checking in here.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I'm just starting out, and I've been listening and decided to check in right here at the end.
Sounds good. Not a problem at all. Glad to hear you in there. And yeah, hopefully you're getting something out of this. And yeah, don't hesitate to lurk and just listen in as much as you like and check in whenever you want. So yeah, thank you so much for checking in here. Let's see. Again, Kilo Foxtrot 0, Whiskey Papa Romeo. Looks like has a little bit of a information on his QRZ page. So if you're interested, finding out more about him, let's see. Interested in astronomy and heard about SID monitoring, sudden ionospheric disturbances, monitoring VLF transmissions that the U.S. uses to communicate to submarines. Quite heady stuff here. So yeah, really awesome stuff. This is a K1DBC Net Control.
Yeah, the sudden ionospheric disturbances that got me interested in getting my ham radio license, and that's what I did back in April. I got technician and then general about a month after that.
Excellent. No, it sounds good. Yeah, no surprise there. This hobby has a lot of tendrils and a lot of different aspects to it, not necessarily just talking on the radio, but how radio works and affects physics in the world around us. So that's awesome. This is K1 at DBC Net Control. Yeah, glad to hear you in there. Anyone else? Last couple of minutes here. Any other last minute comments, questions, check-ins? Go right ahead.
CGF with a comment.
Yeah, Kenny, KD0, CGF. Go right ahead.
Okay, so a couple things here. KF0WPR, I want to say welcome to the hobby. But going back to the field day topic, when you were talking about it, it presented me with an interesting idea for groups.io. What about putting something up there as in radio pack for field day? With field day coming, it makes me think, bug out bag, but radio style. What would you put on a radio? What would you put in your radio pack, and why? Would that be a okay topic for the groups.io?
Yeah, absolutely. Don't hesitate to please put that on there yourself if you like. Absolutely. Yeah, just a question out there of what you would use for a bug out bag type a man pack field day radio pack. Yeah, please don't hesitate to put that on there. I know a lot of people are definitely interested in that, and especially when it comes to field day as well. So yeah, we can certainly put that up there. That is a good topic to put up there. Go right ahead. All right, this is K1DBC. If you don't get around to that, let me know, and I'm more than happy to do that. Again, groups.io/G/WT W0TX. Don't have to be a member of the club. If you can provide your call sign when you sign up, feel free to do that, just so we know your call sign. But everyone is welcome. Lots of stuff going on there. So yeah, if anybody's interested, or there will be a topic hopefully coming up here of interest to field day. What equipment would you pack for it, and put into either a backpack or Pelican style case or something like that. If anybody has anything on that or anything else, go right ahead.
Katie's CGF, if you refreshed, I did get it posted.
Excellent. I do see that now. Kenny, Kilo Delta Zero, Charlie Golf Fox had put up a post with Field Day coming up. It makes him think. Bug out bag, but radio style. What would you put in the radio pack for Field Day and why? So I'm guessing there'll probably be some follow-up on that, whether people actually have it or not. I know that fantasizing a little bit about what you might have is also part of the hobby as well, window shopping as it were. So yeah, if anybody's interested, radio pack for Field Day, new post over on our groups.io page. Let's see, we also had a last-minute check-in online, Kilo Zero Bravo Foxtrot. Dustin, thank you so much for checking in there from Stoneham over on our YouTube live stream. It's 8:31 p.m., just about to take over to 8:32. No hard stop, but we normally end around this time. Anyone else? Last-minute comments, questions, check-ins for this evening's Learning Net? Go right ahead. Let's see, to quickly brief about what we had talked about. Again, 6 check-ins. Not a ton, but that's all right. We love to have this net for as few or as many people are in attendance. Again, Kenny, KD0CGF, can't thank him enough for taking net control last week when we had our board meeting. Let's see, he had brought up this week trying to work through some compromises of different radios to use, and for his radio pack there, the 991, the 891, 746, and just working through that, whether it be HF only type radios or all-in-one type radios. Definitely a lot of compromises to be made. We talked about our DMR Brandmeister for our nets. Sunday and Wednesdays, Brandmeister and Echolink are interconnected. Hopefully in the future, not too long from now, we will have those permanently interlinked. Let me see what else here. Upcoming meetings, again, Cold War espionage on RF bugs, presented by Orland Wolf, I believe this month, third Wednesday of this month, going to be the 17th, so a couple of weeks from now. Should be in person and remote. And a few other things. Let's see here. Again, Broadcastify, if anybody's interested. You can hear archives of our radio transmissions on that. And quite a few of other things. But again, youtube.com/Denver Radio Club. If you've missed this net, you're more than happy to go back and listen in on what we talked about. Let's see, I will put it out there. Any other last minute comments, questions, check-ins, please call now. All right, as mentioned during the beginning of the net, I was playing a few minutes of a video from Radio Club of America. You can view that over on our YouTube page or their YouTube page. This is a bit of an older video from 4 years ago, supply chain panel. So if you're interested on outsourcing practices and cartels and quite a bit more information, I'll play a few more minutes of that. But this is a panel that they had, a discussion focused on small to mid-sized electronics companies that are struggling with supply chain issues, Panelists presented specific ideas on handling those issues. Panelists from the following companies presented: Celio Networks, ICOM, JPS, Kermis and Associates, and DX Engineering. So that is an hour and a half long video. I'll play just a couple more minutes after the net if anybody's interested in sticking around for that. This will be the final call, final call. Last minute comments, questions, check-ins. Please call now. Okay, another reminder, as we were just talking about, groups.io/G/W0TX. Again, recent post there by KD0CGF. Upcoming field day, bug out bag, but radio style. What would you put in radio pack for field day and why? So whether or not you own it or not, what would you prefer to carry around for field day? So and don't hesitate to post photos of equipment that you do have. Sign up on groups.io if you haven't already. Again, w0tx.org for more information on our club. And our roundtable monthly newsletter should be out in the next day or so, so be on the lookout for that. With that, this is K1DBC Net Control. Let me head back to the script and we'll close the net out. Let's see, again, we're also always looking for people interested in taking net control operations. Fourth Wednesday of the month during our board meeting. Kenny thankfully took it this month. If anybody's interested in taking it in the future, please don't hesitate to reach out to me, K1DBC at w0tx.org. Our Sunday night weekly net also could use some more operators if anybody's interested. Upcoming officers elections in September. So a few of us officers, board members, our terms are coming up in September. Let me see here. Five of us up for re-election. We'd love to see new members on the board, new blood. We'd love to have that. Let's see, our vice president position will be open, as well as the secretary and a few board member positions. So if anybody's interested in helping out with the nonprofit 501c3 board of directors side of things and are interested in that, please don't hesitate to do so. There is plenty of opportunity, and we meet again once a month, the fourth Wednesday of the month, for our board meetings and help to decide the future of our club. So if you'd like to be a part of that, don't hesitate to reach out and just keep that in mind for September. Throw your hat in the ring, or if anybody else might be interested, let them know as well. Closing the net out here, we had a total of 6 check-ins. Can't thank enough everyone who's participated, whether you checked in or not. If you're listening out there, we love having you there. Let's see. We thank everyone who participated, especially, and appreciate the Elmers, just anybody who has helped provide further information. Thanks to the Denver Radio Club for allowing us to use their repeaters for this net. Join us the third Wednesday of the month, 6 p.m. for an Elmers session, which takes prior to the regularly scheduled Denver Radio Club meeting at 7 p.m. w0tx.org for more information on that. Licensed or not, member or not, everyone is welcome. With that, please join us next week, 1930 hours, 7:30 p.m. for the next Learning Net. This is Kilo 1 Delta Bravo Charlie 732 all, and I will be clear. Have a good evening.
For 21st century risk is a very interesting one, and I would recommend that to anybody that's interested. Next slide, please. So it's important to look at from the perspective of how the trade relationship has gone. This particular article in the Asia Pacific Journal is really excellent. It goes into the deep history of our relationships with China from the very beginning, even during feudal times, and explains a lot of reasons why we got into a trade deficit, which in 2005 and 2006 was characterized as the largest deficit it has ever recorded for the U.S. with a single economy in history. In 2012, China exceeded the United States as the largest trading nation in the world, and we became their largest export market. Next slide, please. So these, I'm not going to spend any time on these slides, but they show between 71 and 80, and then 81 to 1990. And you can see that the growth in trade with China was significant. Next slide. The result of that was loss of manufacturing. I used to work for Motorola. The entire Schaumburg campus has basically disintegrated, and that's a picture from it. This is another bunch of Ford plant closings. Of course, that's not electronics, but it's manufacturing. Next slide, please. So here's some other perspectives on this. Tim, if you could roll it up just a wee bit, please. The Duke Fuqua School of Business came up with what they see as three major reasons why we have this trade surplus right now, and especially this supply chain thing. And they say that the three issues, in their view, is COVID, creating a shortage of workers, distortions to demand due to changes in customer purchasing behavior, and manufacturing and logistics systems that do not have a lot of excess capacity. They make a recommendation, including having accurate information and so forth. Next slide, please. So Forbes had a different take on it. They believe that one of the things that was a major problem with supply chain currently is the very popular for several decades now, the lean and just-in-time JIT supply chain strategies. The idea was to basically reduce inventory to free up cash for other things, but the problem is manufacturers did not have any kind of inventory buffer. So if certain parts started to become scarce, then the result was suddenly you couldn't order things, and goods that required many parts suddenly were held up for one or two. And their rationale was three major causes: poor supply chain management, over-concentration in markets. The reason for that is multiple, but one of the things is that to get best buyer advantage, sometimes you want to concentrate on one supplier. But this, of course, works completely against you when that one supplier doesn't have enough parts. Next slide, please. And sub-optimization, which they consider that instead of directing all parts of the company to achieve a common goal, the silo divisions work on supply chain completely independently. Next slide, please. So I'm not going to spend any time on this, but these are some recent headlines. You've all been reading the press, so we all know there's a problem. Next slide, please. So in summary, we live, and we have for many decades lived in a very highly interconnected, interdependent world. Moving manufacturing and services outside the U.S. is a long-term issue. We can't fix this quickly. Many issues contribute to the supply chain problems, including an overemphasis on non-U.S. factories, COVID, demand distortion, and so forth. So let's hear some ideas. And Tim, let's kick off with Charles, and then after Charles, you can introduce Eric Lee Celio.
Thanks everyone for watching. Again, if you want to watch the rest of that Radio Club of America supply chain panel from 2022, this is K1DBC signing off.